This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, where targeted strategies and individualized personal development models help students to become their own advocates. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College. Learn your way. Succeed uniquely. This is Dr. Ned Hallowell with a mini episode of Distraction. In a few days, we have the wonderful holiday called Mother's Day, the day set aside to honor mothers. What could be better than a chance to honor our mothers? We all have a mother, and we look back on our mothers if they're not alive any longer, or we look across at our mothers if they are alive. And we have a chance to say thank you. We have a chance to express love and whatever other emotion we might feel. My own mother is now resting peacefully in heaven, and I have many, many, many memories of her. One of my favorite memories was when I was about 10 years old, and she took me to a baseball game. It's usually dads who take sons to baseball games, but my mother took me on this particular day to see the Red Sox play. And I remember it so well. And we went in to see them play the Detroit Tigers. I remember this game vividly. And this was when the Red Sox were a terrible, terrible team. So you could just walk up to the window and buy a ticket. You could get the best seat in the house. Box seats then sold for $3. Now they sell for $300, but it was $3. So we bought two wonderful seats right on the third baseline. And we bought two hot dogs down in the bowels of Fenway Park and slathered with mustard. I love lots of mustard. And each of us got a Coke. Maybe my mother got a beer. I don't know. But and we found our wonderful seats right behind third base, and we started watching the game. And I was an avid baseball fan at the age of 10. And baseball is a slow game, but it seemed to me to go lickety-split. And I was so excited. The Red Sox, it was a close game. But as the game wound on, they started to fall behind. And heading into the ninth inning, they were down by 3 runs. And the Tigers brought on their ace reliever. And the game was over. The Red Sox had no hitters, and I just didn't want to stay and see them lose. And my mother said, no, we have to stay to the very end. And I said, Mom, let's beat the crowd and let's get out of here. I don't want to see them, send up 3 hitters and lose. And she said, no, you can't go until it's over. This is a life lesson. And I said, oh, come on, don't give me that. The game is over. They're a terrible team. It's over. Let's leave before, beat the crowd. There was no crowd to beat. So that really, I didn't have much of an argument there. Well, wouldn't you know, the Red Sox put on a rally, and I'll never forget, they had 2 men on, and they're down by 2 runs, and Roman Mejias came up, and they had traded my favorite player, Pete Ronalds, to get Roman Mejias, and he was having a terrible season. And I said, oh, my goodness, of all people to come up, Roman Mejias was just the worst player. Well, of course, wouldn't you know, Roman Mejias sends a screaming line drive to dead center field over the head of a very fleet center fielder, and he misses the catch. He can't get to it, and 2 runners circle the bases, tie it up, and Mejias manages to come around to score as well, and the Red Sox win the game. And in the bottom of the 9th inning, and my mother looks at me as we're walking back, and she says, and I said, yes, Mom, you're right, and I've learned my lesson and never give up. And at her funeral, I talked about Roman Mejias and my mother saying never give up. It's a cliche, but that lesson stuck with me. And Roman Mejias, my brother later gave me a bat with Roman Mejias inscribed on it. And the player never went on to do very much, but he lives on with me. And Roman Mejias is sort of my never give up symbol, my never give up guy. And my Mother's Day is my Roman Mejias Day. My mom, who had a very difficult life, was all about never giving up. She never did give up for all the turmoil and trials she went through. She retained her optimism. She always talked about the bluebird of happiness, and she went through her whole life looking for it and believing in it, and never became bitter, never became sour, never gave up. She just went on her whole life believing in the possibilities of things. Speaking of that, I have a memoir coming out. It'll be published June 12th, where I write about my mother and other people in my family. The title of the book is Because I Come From a Crazy Family, The Making of a Psychiatrist. You can pre-order that book now. Go to Amazon or any other online bookseller. Again, the title is Because I Come From a Crazy Family, The Making of a Psychiatrist. I've never written a book like this. It has nothing to do with ADD or those kinds of things that I'm known for. It's about my childhood and my early training in psychiatry. And it tells stories like the story I just told you about my mom. And it's funny, it's sad, it's poignant. It was really freeing for me to write it because I didn't have to give any advice. It was just telling stories. Well, wherever you are, wherever your mom is, I hope you enjoy this Mother's Day. Enjoy this chance to remember your mother, celebrate your mother, maybe reflect on your relationship with your mother. And however you feel about your mother, it has to be one of the most important relationships in your life. And if you are a mother, take heart and celebrate the fact that your being a mother is one of the most important things you'll ever do. One of the most important roles a person ever plays is being a mother. Being a mother is just an extraordinarily wonderful role, extraordinarily wonderful gift that mothers give to the world. Well, have a wonderful Mother's Day, all of you. This is Dr. Ned Hallowell for Distraction. Remember to reach out to us with your questions, comments, and show ideas by calling and leaving us a voice message at 844-55-CONNECT, or you can send an email to connect@distractionpodcast.com. Distraction is produced by Collisions, the podcast division of CRN International. Collisions, podcasts for curious people. This episode of Distraction was recorded by Pat Keogh and mixed by Scott Person. Our music theme was created by Mark Berman, and our producer is the wonderful Sarah Gurton.